All right, we are live today. We are here with Raiken Profit. We're just going to be answering questions, hanging out, talking about online arbitrage. We've both been doing a lot of eBay to Amazon recently. We got RW in the chat first. We got Matthew Osborne. What's up, guys? Smash that like button, everyone. Good to see you guys. And yeah, so it's the heart of Q4 right now. I know my margin is getting tons and tons better because of Q4 and because of good purchasing decisions. How have things been going for you, Raiken?
Dude, it's been crazy, man. I didn't expect things to take off this way. Like I did, but like it never really I don't know. This is my first time ever like being in stock this well. And obviously this is like my first real Q4 with the eBay to Amazon flip. So it's nuts, man. I think the last time we were talking, I was around like 30. And yesterday I hit 45K. So
Ooh, congrats.
yeah, man.
You
Thank
were
you
going
so
for
much.
42 and you overshot it.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the year, I was doing like between 5 to 10,000 a month, but that was all with like thrifting and like pallets. And, I had picked up some pallets from a couple sources, and, I was doing garage sales and library sales and stuff like that. And I was doing, between 5 to 10K on average. Plus I was doing a little Facebook marketplace flipping. But yeah, I learned about eBay to Amazon and just went absolutely nuts this year. And I didn't think cause I'm big into DVDs. I didn't think these things would be selling as well as they would be during Q4, but these things are just going nuts. It's crazy.
I mean, to be completely honest with you, just thinking about like Christmas gifts, like a DVD is a great Christmas gift.
It is, because it's almost like, are DVDs vintage now? You know what I mean?
They kind of are.
You know how
it's
like
almost like an
everything's
antique.
yeah, you know how everything's trending towards like retro gaming, and like everyone's got like the old t-shirts on. Like maybe that's going to be the cool thing in the future. It's like, yeah, I'm hanging out watching a DVD with my boys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's so weird. It's like a modern vintage item that will actually work, most likely,
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure.
We got Anywhere But Missouri in the chat. Are you afraid of bootleg DVDs? Tons on eBay.
Yeah,
You have a specific strategy for this, don't you?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I do, because there are a lot of DVDs that are bootleg, but there's a couple things that I do. Number one, I don't go after any of the really, really popular DVDs. So I stay away from a lot of the DVDs that are counterfeited. The most are those complete series DVDs, especially the ones that are newer, like seasons 1 through 5 or the complete series. Those ones are super duper faked. And there's a couple ways that I prevent buying fakes outside of actually looking at it through the pictures or receiving it and determining it. Number one, I try to stay away from DVDs that are less than 20,000 rank in general. Typically, the really popular stuff is what the bootleggers are going after, right? Because they want to make as much money as possible. Number two, I never buy any DVD where there's currently eBay sellers who are selling multiple quantities or have sold multiple quantities. Because again, a bootlegger, a scammer, a counterfeiter, whatever you want to call them, they're looking to make as much money as possible with the least amount of work. So they're typically not going to target, items that are like maybe discontinued and you only see a couple of them selling. Those aren't what the counterfeiters are going after. Another great tip, and I actually learned this from one of my members in the masterclass, and I was like, that's a really great piece of advice. She said what she does is she goes into the Amazon reviews and she looks and filters for words like fake or counterfeit or didn't work, because a lot of the fake DVDs, customers will complain about them and you'll see them in the Amazon feedback. So my team, we've gone into a lot of our DVDs that we're kind of like on the fence about, and we'll check, is eBay selling multiple quantities? Are there sellers with like 20 or 30? Because why are you going to have a brand new DVD and have like 30 of them and you're selling it for 25 and it's going for 90 on Amazon with a 8,000 rank? Like that's so sketchy.
And it also happens to be from China too.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes the delivery is just like, it will take like 12 days to receive.
Yeah, I filter all my items out US only. So I never buy international to begin with. But those are a couple ways that you can kind of reduce the risk of buying a fake DVD. And then, of course, when you physically receive it, you can look to see if there's any weird color grading, if the alignment's off, if the packaging just looks a little iffy. Like a lot of the DVDs have a nice thick cellophane on it. And a lot of the fakes I've noticed, it's like a very thin, like they're so cheap, these counterfeiters, they'll like cut every single corner they possibly can. But those are some of the things that I do for sure. But yeah, it's a legitimate You know, it's a legitimate fear. I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I was scared to get a counterfeit claim, right? But it's part of
Yeah.
the game.
You recently changed it. Last time we talked, you said that it was a 10K rank that was your cutoff. So what was the change there? You kind of just felt
What did
like,
I just say? 20,000?
yeah, you said 20,000.
Yeah,
It's kind of like on the fence for you.
I like to, I don't know. I just like to be a bit more conservative. Like really under 10K is like 100% red flag. When it's under 20K, like I'm starting to look a bit closer. So we actually do have some DVDs in our catalog that are like 12 or 15,000, but publicly, I would just rather have everybody stay away from those
Yeah.
because you're just starting to play with a little bit of fire if you don't go through all the steps I mentioned. So yeah, that's the more conservative way. And the truth is, you know, my sweet spot for DVD, Seth, is between, I would say 30,000 rank and 80,000. That's really my sweet spot. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands. Like I have a replens list that's approaching 5,000 DVDs now. And, you know, on my list, there's like 2,000 that like we don't even have in stock just because like we're buying so many. Like we can't even spend all the money that we want right now. And that's just one niche. Like we haven't even talked about electronics, which you're a freaking maniac at.
There, like, sometimes I'm like, should I really be talking about eBay to Amazon? But then I'm like, I can't spend all my money. Like there's so many things here and I'm just in a couple categories. Like you're the same in DVDs. Like there's so many things to purchase. Like a couple of things for me with counterfeits. I don't do as many DVDs, but there are some items that like they're like $50 on eBay. There's multiple quantity. There's multiple sellers selling basically the same price. And they're like almost 3 times the price on Amazon. And like if you search like is this item faked in YouTube? Like there's lots of videos talking about fakes. So
Yeah.
it's just too good to be true type things that are most likely to be bootlegged.
Yep.
We got Jody Bowden in the chat. I am a UK eBay buyer to Amazon seller. What are your thoughts on the Amazon fair pricing policy? I used to buy certain DVDs for 20 and flip it on Amazon for 100, but not allowed now. Do you have any thoughts on this? I feel like you have someone literally employed to help you with this.
Yeah, I pay her like $400 a month now because this is like a pain in the ass. Like I'm not even going to lie. And I still need to improve my systems here, but I have somebody on my team who literally all she does is she fixes stranded inventory and the fair market pricing, which based on what I've learned, it was interesting. I started getting hit with a lot more of the fair market pricing when I implemented my repricer 4 months ago. And you know how it is, man. At any given time, there's like 50 different things going on in my business. And right now, like I'm so focused on just sourcing because stuff is flipping so quick. I haven't really had a chance to really dive in fully and figure out why am I getting hit with these fair market pricing errors? Because every week I have like 50 to 100 that I have to fix. And then we fix them all. And then like half of them go through and they're good. And then like the other half keep coming. And so I have a girl on my team who literally has a whole entire process that we built out. And to be perfectly clear, I don't even know all the things that she does. She just fixes them. I hate that type of stuff. So Jody, first and foremost, man, yeah, you're right. There are certain DVDs and just items in general where Amazon just will not let you sell them. And this is certainly a part of my business I need to improve over the next year because it's like I'm paying this girl $400 a month. She's fixing the problem, but it's almost like, think of it this way. It's almost like, how do I say it? Say you're like 50 pounds overweight and, you know, you get plastic surgery or you get like, you do some like, I don't know, operation to lose the weight, but then you still keep eating like crap. It's like, you're just going to gain all the weight back. Right. And it's like, I'm paying this person to like fix the symptoms, but what's the root problem? I don't know if it has to do with maybe specific ASINs, right? Might just get flagged for one reason or another, maybe because Amazon was on the listing and now they're not anymore. And they're like, we're not going to let people price over this certain point. Cause you ever notice that, Seth?
I have, yeah.
When Amazon comes off a listing, at least with DVDs, what happens is for like a year, the buy box is suppressed because the price jumps so much that Amazon's like pretty much like, screw all the Amazon sellers. We're going to suppress the buy box and make it harder for people to buy. And then like after about a year to like 16, 17 months, I noticed the buy box comes back. So I haven't dove into this deep enough to figure out what the reason is, but there's an issue there. The thing is, it's not affecting my business as much. It's not affecting my business to the point where I'm like going to drop everything, but I do need to fix this. I wish I had more information. Maybe you could share some info on it, Seth, but this is an area that just boggles my mind.
To me, now that you're talking about it and what I've noticed, I feel like it's almost a spectrum. Like the less extreme version of this issue is the buy box being suppressed, if that makes sense. So on a regular, normal listing, there's a buy box. Sometimes Amazon's on it, sometimes Amazon's not on it. But then if the price goes way up and Amazon's out of stock, for example, like the buy box will just get suppressed. And then the more extreme version is these pricing errors. I don't know if you feel the same way, Steve. Have you seen that pattern?
It's so hard, man. It's like I've spent some time looking at it and it's just all over the place. It really is. So I'll have to come back to you in 3 months because I'll definitely be diving deeper into this once Q4 calms down. But, we could even transition to this, like all the little tiny systems in our business, like the little systems we have for sourcing, the little systems we have for analyzing Keepa, the little systems we have for winning the buy box and shipping, like they all like create this compilation of like our end result. So, you never want to let things go and neglect things to the point where it's like hurting your business. So, I mean, each and every day I try to just improve a couple different things, but I got to get to that, man, because those fair market pricing errors, I can't stand them.
Yeah. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. RW is saying, are you sending in items to the warehouses or FBM now? I have to switch to FBA backed up from what I can see. I mean, I just do FBA. If you want to maximize it and get the most out of Q4, FBM is the way to go, but it takes a lot of time. So I don't know what your thoughts on this, Steve.
Seth, you know me well enough
Yeah,
now.
I mean, I know your thoughts, but like, talk about your thoughts. Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just busting your balls. So yeah, I just do 100% FBA. For me, I'm just with my lifestyle, I'm just way too busy. And my biggest fear is when it comes to FBM is that I'm going to miss a day of shipping. Like what I love about FBA is I could just front load all of my work, send everything in, and then they deal with the picking, the packing, the prepping, the shipping, the customer service, the refunds, all that stuff. My biggest fear is like something comes up or there's like a fire I have to put out in my business, or even maybe who knows, there's a fire at one of my properties and I have to go like take care of it. And then I like neglect my packages. I just feel like my life is too crazy now with coaching and all these things to have to be shipping merchant fulfilled items out. But I was actually having a conversation, Seth, with one of my buddies 2 days ago. And I would like to say that I think FBM is probably one of the biggest opportunities right now, especially with eBay to Amazon flips. Do you happen to know my friend Kurt? He's actually he's in my mentorship program. He's one of the coaches. Do you know Kurt at all?
I don't.
Oh man, you got to meet this guy. He's freaking awesome. He's 26. Congrats to Kurt. He just had a baby, and there's probably some members that are in the chat right now, but he just had a baby and he does around 50,000 a month. Okay. And on that 50 grand, he made about 10,000 profit last month, and he's 100% FBM.
So does he do eBay to Amazon?
Yes, 100% eBay to Amazon, 100% FBM. And what's interesting about Kurt, again, he's one of my students and coaches. He's become a coach. He goes after only high ticket items. So he's going after like 150, 250, $300 items. He sent me a listing the other day. I won't say what it is, but it was $1,000 item that he was considering buying. And it was going to flip for like, I don't know, like 2,100. He was going to make like 400 on it or something like that. And I'm like, damn, man, it's just so interesting how many different opportunities there are. For me, I would never do that just because it just doesn't align with my lifestyle. And my main motivation right now isn't money. It's more, along the lines of like, how can I have as much time as possible and maximize the income I make per hour? But I think merchant fulfilled is amazing. And if you take a look at Keepa, a lot of people don't know this. When you look at Keepa, you can actually see who's winning the buy box, if it's a merchant or an FBA. So he really goes after high ticket stuff where the merchants are winning the buy box. So yeah, it's interesting. What's going on, my man? I was
what is talking about merchant fulfilled. Talking about merchant fulfilled. He loves merchant fulfilled.
Yeah, I love merchant fulfill. It's the way. If you don't have money, it's the way to go. It's the way to double your money. It's the way, because you get your money back really quick, right? You have an item, you sell it the same day you get it. Sometimes even like with Walmart, right? They're really fast. You can get it to your house in a day. You can list it merchant fulfilled, sell it the same day, and then get your money back. Well, with FBA, it's awesome, but the lead time is like 2 months. right? Or even it could be a month, 2 months. It really just depends. Who knows when they're going to check into your stuff sometimes, you know? So.
Yeah, I agree. And I really enjoyed your guys' conversation last night on the call. And I was loving that you were getting all pumped up and hyped up over Merchant Fulfilled, because I know you guys talk to a lot of people and help a lot of people. And what's the number one thing that holds people back? It's cash flow. And while I wouldn't do FBM just because my time doesn't allow it, like I've already said a million times, you could get your money back so much quicker and scale so much quicker as well. And I think there's a reduced liability, because let's just say I get my account, like, who knows? We've talked about this before. Like, I could get my account banned. Like, it could happen to anybody. Like, if I get my account banned or suspended, like, they have all my inventory and you know they ain't giving it back. Whereas if they ban you and you're all Merchant Fulfilled, you got all your inventory, which is great, you know?
Yeah. That is definitely an advantage.
Yeah, definitely. I love high ticket stuff like that. So I feel like Kurt and I would be two peas in a pot. I love high ticket stuff. We got Steve in Dallas. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Christy, good to see you. We got Mark in the chat. We got Amanda. Good morning, guys. Excited to learn more from you guys. Thanks for all you guys do. Thank you guys for being here so much. All online platforms want big money sellers. Little sellers go away. I mean, to a point, like, sellers really want people who are selling a ton of stuff, and the big people are going to just do better long term. Yeah. Kurt's wife had the baby, Steve.
Oh, that's what I thought I said. Maybe who knows? I'm only halfway done with my, done with my
morning.
coffee.
It's morning now. Hey, Steve, off subject. Where can I get a Raiken Profit coffee cup?
Dude, this is the only one in existence. Actually, my mom and my girlfriend has them. There's 3 in existence right now. I was
dang, discontinued.
Yeah, I was working on building my business credit, and there was this website you can purchase off of that would help you build your credit. So I just ordered 3 of them. Overpriced. It was like $30 a mug. I'm like, whatever.
Business credit.
Oh, wow.
Gotta get that business credit going. Got Ecco flips. They're not. Yeah, you might need to launch them publicly. That's for sure. Yeah. The one thing that I've noticed so many times doing storefront stocking eBay to Amazon, so many of the storefronts that I see and look at and kind of like are selling on the same listings as me, they merge fulfill. Like, oftentimes I'm one of the only FBA sellers. It seems to be a pattern with eBay to Amazon that I've noticed, merch fulfilling, because a lot of the stuff you can win the buy box with. We got Liz, hi from San Diego. Good to see you. We got Denise. Good morning. Thank you. Good to see you. We got Dustin Doyle. Nice hearing different perspectives. Exactly. This is why it's so much fun to just have a bunch of people on the stream, and just like Steve's doing his DVDs going hard. Ecco Flips doing his FBM going hard. Me, I'm doing my FBA, loving it. On FBM, how do you get around the shipping cost? You pay it.
Yeah, so you really just pay it. The fees are overall just a little bit lower with FBM for the most of the time, right? So the fees is like, for FBA, they kind of charge you a little bit more fees. While with FBM, you do have to pay the shipping cost, but the fees are generally lower. So it ends up being around the same. Definitely factor it in. You can also charge people shipping. So it's kind of like a, you can charge them the shipping. So if you don't want to have to pay that, then
exactly
I'll profit off of the shipping too,
Like, whenever I do FBM, I usually just try and charge like $50 for shipping. I don't want to have to pay anything. I'm just kidding.
Hey, Ecco Flips. I've been watching some of your content, but I don't know your full story. Are you mostly like traditional OA or eBay to Amazon?
So eBay to Amazon, I love it. That's kind of where I started out, right? I would flip used books off of eBay, and I would do flipping books locally, really. Just like, I feel like everybody came out of like, they were in the trenches, they did books, and then they got out, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's kind of that's part of my background, right? I did that for a good bit. And I would use the Keep a Deals tab also. And if you guys don't know about this, it's a really great tab, because I had for 3 years straight, every 6 months, my car's broke down, right? So it's like, oh man, like I was like, I gotta figure out something, right? kind of similar to like your situation with the cars, right? And it's like, man, like I don't want to drive anymore. This is terrible. So I discovered Keepa, and I discovered Keepa Deals tab. And what if you guys don't know what it is, Keepa is a software where you can, I know some of the people in here might just do eBay, but Keepa is a software where you can read the data of how well something sells on Amazon. If you go to keepa.com, there's a tab that says deals. And in that tab, it tells you when Amazon drops in price, right? And what I would do is I'd buy books where Amazon is on the listing and they drop the price significantly lower than everybody else, buy up those really cheap books, and then flip them back onto Amazon.
Wow.
I did a lot of that's considered Amazon to Amazon flips, basically buying a book where Amazon severely underprices it and then sell it back onto Amazon. I did that for a few months and made a few grand doing that, because it's really no risk, because you can buy the book, get it shipped to your house, FBM it, and then sell it. And if it doesn't sell, you can just ship it back to Amazon. So that's kind of where I came up through Raiken. Just giving you a little background.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that for sure, and it's really cool. How are you doing in your with your Amazon sales, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, so in the last so this month so far, I refresh my seller central, I'm probably at 20K. Last night I was at 19K. So we're trying to pump, we're pumping with Q4. And so the last 30 days I'm at 60K in sales. So it's pretty good. I'm really just trying to scale to 100K plus, and I've been working with some people too. I have 3 guys from Texas that I've been like pretty much like kind of one-on-oneing, like a group, for the last 2 months, and they're all at 20K revenue now, plus a month. So it's awesome. Like I love seeing the homies eat, you know what I mean? Like I love yeah, they're amazing. But so always awesome. The opportunity's insane. If you guys aren't selling on Amazon right now, like sell on Amazon. There's so much.
Yeah, speaking of that, there's a lot of people probably in here. I haven't gotten to all of your comments yet, but we will. A lot of people sell on eBay. A lot of people sell on Amazon. I know I sold on eBay for like a year and a half before I did Amazon, and I was like scared of all the rules on Amazon, and it was scary. I think it's worth it because stuff just sells so much quicker on Amazon most of the time. But we got Fred Gonzalez on the subject of business credit. How do you build that up? I've been selling for 5 months and can't get approved for business credit cards yet. So there is a distinction here with business credit versus personally guaranteed versus like business guaranteed. So there's personal credit and there's business credit. But even with business credit, it's often personally guaranteed. I guess that goes really deep in the weeds. So how do you build that up? Basically, you can get business credit cards if you have good personal credit. That's been my experience. So I'm curious if you have been trying to build up the personal credit or not. There are some good, I know I got the Capital One Spark. That was a pretty easy to get business credit card. We got Steve in Dallas, another Steve. FBM, manage your shipping times. Exactly. We got Jeffrey. Discontinued items sell great, as Steve has taught us. Exactly. We love discontinued items. I love, those are my favorite items, especially the high ticket ones. We got Gina. I have to learn how to find these FBA items. Exactly. We got Rachel saying, I enjoy FBM, but how hard is it to get refunded when the warehouse loses your shipment? Because one of my shipments just got lost. FBA, I feel like is more risk when it comes to that. What are your thoughts on this, guys?
If you don't have invoices nowadays, you're pretty much not going to get any money back from my experience. So with the eBay to Amazon flips, if they lose it, you're pretty much out of luck. If you do have invoices, because I remember when I was at your house in Colorado, we were hanging out with Josh. Remember he had like $3,000 or $4,000 worth of shoes lost, but he had invoices. Yeah, and they were like, they were still denying him, but after like 10 tries, he finally got his money back. So, I mean, I've shipped out hundreds of shipments. I've only had a couple that were lost. So in the beginning, it sucks because you're not making much money, but in the long run, it's really a small percentage, I would say, unless you're going to IND4 or whatever this place is called.
Yeah, the shoes are a little bit more dicey, but overall, like if your margin is good, you're buying good profitable stuff. Like it's kind of a cost of doing business, but it hardly ever happens. Like I don't even look at this really. So it's kind of just the risk of doing it, but it very, very rarely happens. It's kind of like eBay returns. Like, yeah, there's going to be eBay returns, but the profit way outweighs the risk there. We got Swappin Vivo. If Amazon bans my seller account, what should be my alternative so that my business will not be totally shut down? I totally understand the fear and nervousness about Amazon shutting your Amazon seller account down, but as I've done social media over the last year and a half, and I've talked to so many Amazon sellers, I've talked to like hundreds of Amazon sellers, and probably one or two have been permanently banned. Like, and there's usually like some questionable stuff going on. It's the minority for sure. So just make sure you're following the rules and like do your best to address issues, and very little is going to happen.
Yeah.
I know it's not going to help your heart because I understand that so much. I get nervous about it as well. But like it very rarely happens.
Every time I check my performance tab, I like say a prayer to myself.
Please.
And it's perfect. Like I don't have any issues. I just put a post on my Instagram. I have 0 issues besides one like food and safety complaint on like a Disney item from like freaking years ago. It just stays on my account. It's so weird, but I have no counterfeits, no IPs, nothing. Like anytime I've had anything, I've been able to get it removed, even without invoices. I just appealed it and acknowledged it. But now I don't know about you guys, but I have the Amazon health insurance now. So like they won't permanently ban me. If you have, I think, over a 260 score, and you hold that for a certain amount of time, they'll like not ban you instantly. They'll like give you a call and then ask you for invoices. And then you could maybe hopefully make up an excuse on the fly.
I've said bookkeeping error, basically. That kind of makes sense. Like we didn't keep track of the invoice. Like we don't have it.
Oh, that's very interesting. What did they say to you?
They just kind of moved on at that point.
We want your bookkeeper's phone number.
They're like, all right, what's your bookkeeper's number? Just kidding. It's not the best excuse.
That's actually not bad at all. Cause I've been thinking like, if they ever call me, what do I say? That's not a bad one at all.
I mean, yeah, or you could just not talk to them.
My dog ate it.
My dog ate my homework. With prep centers, can you send in one item at a time? You can. Just logistically, it's better to send in more items at a time, but you definitely can. Yeah, I do it all the time actually. And I've been selling on eBay since 1996. Amazon for 2 years now. RW, the grocery king. He sells a lot of grocery. Good category, great category, no returns in grocery, which is amazing. Your ROI is what it is. Yeah, there's customers can't even send in returns, which is nuts.
Has anybody done any eBay to Amazon flips with grocery items?
I did like a couple items, like high-end honey.
Really?
High end?
Yeah.
Like how high end we talking, Seth?
On Amazon, it was $35 for a jar.
And what did you pay for the honey?
It was $15.
Seth is in the honey business now.
I just like cultivate my backyard, like all these honey farms. Just name your Amazon store Honey Farm. That'd be sick.
Interesting.
There's a market for everything.
Yeah, exactly. Weird stuff. I figured it would be a loss. Thanks. Yeah, you can oftentimes, here's what happens. They lose it, and then 3 weeks later, it shows up somewhere in like some warehouse. Like that's what happens 9 times out of 10, unfortunately. Steven Dallas, work with Amazon customer service if you can find a phone number. Well, the cool thing is in your account health, if you guys look at your account health, there is a call me now button. And you can talk to basically an account health specialist. And basically, they aren't even necessarily Amazon. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but they're basically someone who's just trying to help you resolve your issues, but they're basically the intermediary between you and Amazon. And so they are versed in Amazon's policies, and they will help you try to get it resolved. I still feel scared to talk to them, but it's better than talking directly to Amazon. I don't know if you guys have experienced this and looked at this before.
I thought they were just Amazon customer service reps. I really thought that was just the case.
I heard from someone that they were a third party, like in between you and Amazon. I could be wrong, but
I mean, it seems like everybody that works with Amazon now is kind of a third party. They got the Amazon Flex. They got the,
Yeah. So it's probably part of Amazon, but it's, yeah. We got Swap and Vivo. If I open a brand new Amazon seller account, which niche could be the best for starting to flip from eBay to Amazon? Do you guys have any thoughts on this? I feel like I probably... grocery is hard. eBay to Amazon most of the time.
I wouldn't even recommend starting with eBay to Amazon when you have a brand new account, because let's just be honest. I think it's really stupid for brand new sellers to jump right into OA, because you have to learn all these different ways to analyze products. You have to learn the buy box. You have to learn Keepa. You're spending a lot more money on products. Now, granted, if you have business experience, or maybe you got Ecco Flips next door and he's going to be your mentor and get you to 20K, that's a different story. But for the average person, start like going to thrift stores and spending $1 or $2, because, and I'm curious on your guys' thoughts, but when I was new, I made a million mistakes, and I don't even if I joined a course or a class or had a mentor, like I would still make those mistakes. So I would rather make them on a budget. I know everybody has a different opinion. If I did jump right into eBay to Amazon flips, I'd probably do something like books, because you could source books on eBay for like $4, $5, $6 shipped, and you can do it on a little bit of a budget. But I don't know. I'm just highly opposed to people opening brand new accounts and jumping into eBay to Amazon. It sounds amazing, but I just don't want to see people lose money. But I'm curious on your guys' thoughts. Feel free to disagree.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, definitely. Like the safest route is to just sell used books from thrift stores, and like you can do very well with that. You can make a lot of good money. You can get a lot of volume on your account, which is good for account health. You were concerned about account health, maybe a little prematurely, because you haven't seen the actual experience yet. But like used books, eBay to Amazon is probably the best beginner option. eBay to Amazon. You can buy them for really cheap. You can sell them for quite a bit. And yeah, Cody, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think there's there's two different scenarios with a lot of people. They either have a lot of time, they don't have money, and then they have a lot of money and not a lot of time, right? So I think if you're a complete beginner, like you don't have any money, right? You can start off like merchant fulfilling items and do an OA that way and churning your money extremely fast. Say you have like sub $500, it would be really hard at that point. I would say, you should probably do books. But say you have like 3K or like 2K, right? You can flip that doing merchant fulfilled extremely fast. So, and then for the other person that has a ton of money, you could just, in not a lot of time, you could just straight do OA to prep. You don't have to send in a ton of items to your prep center. You could send in 40 at a time, see what pans out, and then continue on. You don't have to rush into everything right away. I really like, Raiken. It's like you got to just, you take things slow at first, because if you make a mistake, you're going to lose a lot of money. That's really what it comes down to. And I think those mistakes come out of not having a really good foundation with Keepa.
There's a lot to learn with Amazon. Like completely normal. Write that one down. My bookkeeper lost the invoice. I'm sorry, guys. We will get to your comments. I'm going to do a little speed round here. Amazon says not Amazon. Amanda Ballard says, dumb question. Could the receipt from eBay count as proof? Do they need a real invoice? Unfortunately, most of the time that doesn't work.
Has anybody tried it though?
I have, yeah, a couple times.
What happens? Like, what do they do?
They just said it. We need, they basically said, I forgot exactly what they said, but it didn't work. Like they just wouldn't accept it.
Interesting. You know how like if you want to get ungated in DVDs, like I've helped people get ungated the first try, and then sometimes it takes 8 tries. I wonder if you just keep submitting it.
Yeah.
Like can you close a case and open a new case and keep submitting it, or is it different with the invoice type? Because I've never had to submit an invoice.
For me, at one point, it went to like a couple of my claims. Eventually, after I tried dealing with it for a certain amount of time, it turned into like an ungating thing. They're like, you need to just show your invoice that you purchased this before the claim. Just like, maybe I need to just keep resubmitting it. But
interesting.
Honey is expensive. It is really expensive. Chase Bank is expanding and they want business accounts. They will help you get a business credit card account. FYI. That's a good point. I mean, I was literally talking about this last night. I have a letter from them. They want to basically give Chase credit cards, and like the offer is like $900 if you spend $6,000 on it in 3 months. So it's just like super good. So if your credit is in line, like that will probably work. Jason is saying, I'm flipping used books. Will closing or deleting my Amazon listings improve my IPI? Will doing that improve my sell-through and in-stock rates? I don't think it improves the sell-through rates. Do you know if it improves IPI, guys? I've never tried that.
I heard that it didn't, but I'm not entirely sure, but I heard that it didn't.
Yeah, for that is, I would really just focus on like, I'm not sure if the closing the listings helps. I'm just going to say that straight up. But what I would do is focus on items that move a bit faster. And you can see that in the data offers tab in Keepa. It will show you, okay, this book moves 50 times a month rather than, and say there's only 10 people on the listing, right? You'd probably be able to buy that book and sell out in less than a month, right? So just really focus on items that move. So you're, you're not worried about these in-stock rates and the sell-through and whatnot. Just buy items that move,
Yeah, it's harder to do with books. Even if you could dedicate like 100 of your slots to like cough drops or something, like something that just like moves super quick at like a break even. Like I've seen that work for people's limits really, really well. As annoying and hard as that is. Oh, Steve just dropped off.
Steve dropped
All right.
off.
RW says,
I'm on a call right now.
RW says, yes, the food from eBay can be a great idea. Cereal is a great option. And Steve, they give the customer a refund. I see. Yeah. Cereal, I feel like that would be hard eBay to Amazon because the shipping would be really hard. Yeah. The call me now button works until you're suspended.
Oh,
fair enough. So many categories are gated on new accounts. Yeah, totally. Yeah, the thing is you can get ungated. So here's like an ungating, like, Steve is saying my internet went down, trying to get back on. No worries. Take your time. We'll see you in a few minutes. Hopefully your internet is okay. But yeah, here's a little ungating, 2-minute seminar here that Cody and I can give. Grocery. So basically ungating, what you have to do is buy 10 of a unit that is on Amazon in a category or a brand. And then that item is also on a site that you purchase from that gives you an invoice. So something like Kohl's or Frontier Co-op or EE Distribution or East Bay. Those will get you ungated in items. And so, Cody, do you want to say what a good place to get ungated in the category of grocery is?
Yeah, so there's Frontier Co-op. That's kind of the one that a lot of people use. I just want to say, like, just straight up for ungating, if you're not used to Amazon, right? And it might be extremely frustrating seeing that, oh, you're gated in an item, but it's really not that big of a deal. A lot of these retailers you can actually use to get ungated. So for things like shoes, I use eBay. So for Nike, Adidas Original, Under Armour, all that, Converse, you can get all of that through eBay. Kohl's.com works for ungating, so I use that for literally like all of the toys and all of these different, like anything that Kohl's has,
which
that
is
there's 10
nuts.
units, and say it's Columbia, like whatever brand it is, say it's Columbia, you can use that to get ungated in that brand. So that's a retailer where you don't have to spend thousands of dollars at, and you guys can all get ungated today. Like that's some sauce for you.
I mean, I think does Kohl's have groceries?
I don't know.
I think that Kohl's is better for like
Maybe
brands.
a little bit.
There's a ton of brands on Kohl's. East
Like
Bay has
everything.
all the apparel, like any apparel you could think of, they have it. RW is saying got ungated in Hot Wheels through Kohl's. That's
Exactly.
right,
There you go.
exactly. A lot of these sites too, like if there's certain brands you want to get it ungated in, like Lego, for example, just buy from Lego. Like
Exactly.
great.
Skechers, buy from Sketch. It's like the brand itself, just submit things, and they might just let you through too. I know that's kind of like a weird answer, but like I've literally submitted like some other old invoice that I used to get ungated 7 times, and they eventually let me through. And it wasn't even for the same item. I'm not saying do that, but sometimes if you just submit enough, they're gonna let you get ungated.
Hey,
Welcome back, Raiken.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You know, not making enough money, can't afford to pay my internet bill. So, no. Hey, I was gonna ask you, because I feel like I really need to sharpen up my skills when it comes to ungating, because I've been kind of soft because I've been like grandfathered into so many things. When it comes to Kohl's, can you like, you have to buy it online, I'm assuming, so you get yourself like a legitimate invoice, right? You can't go to like a retail store and like get a receipt. I think that's a big misconception people probably have, huh?
Correct. You can't do the in-store pickup. It doesn't work for getting that receipt. You just when you check out, all you have to do is snipping tool, that little obviously order 10 units, and then snipping tool the order, like when you go into your orders in Kohl's, submit that and it will just work. And if it doesn't work, highlight I found that if they ever reject me, I highlight the 10 units, right? And when you get them in hand, also take a picture of the items in clear lighting, like the front and the back. And and that really helps, because you present this information to the rep, and they're like, oh, thank God, like this is so easy for my job now, because they see, okay, you have the physical product in hand.
Cool.
And you have the invoice. And sometimes I'll even go, if they keep on rejecting me, I'll print the invoice and then physically highlight it and then put it next to the items. And then they're like, okay, this guy's legit. He's not trying to pull any funny business on us, right? And they'll get you ungated. And if that still doesn't work, just submit like 7 times the light.
What if you send them like a selfie with like a little heart? Like
earlier there was a glitch where you could literally submit like ungates for the wrong brand and get ungated and stuff. A couple people were messaging me. They're like, yeah, I got ungated in Nintendo by submitting a Lego invoice.
Wow. I wonder if they went back
like a couple of days.
Did it went back in a couple of days to like revert it?
I didn't hear from them that it went back. So
Cody, let me ask you a question. So for someone who wants to get ungated, say they're going to go to Kohl's onto the website. So you got to buy 10, at least 10 of an item, right? You have to make sure that item has a ASIN on Amazon, right? You don't want to buy something that doesn't have an ASIN, because they don't care if it's Columbia. They want the ASIN, right?
Right.
So you highlight the ASIN and you could take some pictures and whatnot. Is it smart to only have one product and one ASIN per invoice? So say I wanted to get ungated in 10 different things. Do I go psycho? Because someone's going to go out there, watch this. They're going to freaking create a 10-page invoice and spend $900.
Yeah, I would do it separately, right?
Okay. It's too complicated.
If you have to pay the shipping, honestly, the easiest way to do it is just do everything separately and have it in 10-unit increments, because I've done it how you did it before, or talked about it, right?
Yeah.
Where you run up the cart, you do everything at one time. But I like doing the separate, because these separate invoices I've had before, where I had multiple items on one invoice and try to get ungated in one brand, and there's another product on that invoice, the reps get confused like with anything, right? If it's even like semi like difficult, they're gonna be like, and they'll just reject you, pass it on. So I found just having that one, by one I mean like that one brand, 10 items of that one brand on that one invoice, doing the highlighting method. Like I most of the time I just submit the invoice, right? But if they're like really, really they keep on denying me, I'll do the highlighting thing and I'll take a picture of the product and things like that, right? And I've done that and I've always gone through. Like even the people that are like, man, I've been submitting like 4 times. I'm like, do this like step-by-step process, and then they always get through.
What's up, guys, with these freaking ungating services? Like, I had a guy reach out to me, right? And it was like actually someone that I knew like from back in the day. And he's like, hey, let's team up. Like, I'll give you 50%, blah, blah, blah. Like, I get this all the time. And I was like, oh, that might be beneficial for my audience. And then I was like, well, what are the prices? I'm thinking like maybe like $100 per ungate or something, right?
Oh,
just to not have to worry about it. Like, I would pay that. He's like $2,000 for Nike, $3,000 for this. I'm like, what the heck is going on in the community? Are these just scammers just running around, just taking advantage of people? Because this seems just ridiculous.
It used to be so almost like elitist getting ungated and stuff like back in like 2017, 2018, 2019 into 2020. And like things have definitely changed when it comes to ungates these days. It's just absolutely wild. I think, yeah, they want to do like affiliate deals for like 2,000 to get ungated and stuff. Like,
don't pay that much money.
Yeah,
they're living in the past. It's literally on YouTube for free now. Like, let's be like.
RW says books start slow, then grow every month. Oh, hey, right out the doors like drinking from the fire hose. It's a good point. I mean, like most people, it takes a long time to actually learn everything. Like I remember not being able to find any deals online arbitrage. Like how would I ever find anything online arbitrage? It's a gradual progression. You got to crawl before you walk, baby. Exactly, Charlie. Exactly. Used books in California, not worth to buy on eBay. Better choice is $5 per book in most cases. I mean, yeah, I think they're literally in thrift stores, California, $5-6. Crazy.
Dude, I went to Austin, Texas. This was like 4 years ago. And they had all their books there. Like textbooks were like 12, 14, 15. And I'm like, you guys are complete morons. Like they're selling these textbooks that are from like 2007 for like $13. I'm like, guys, like, what are you doing right now? These are just going to sit forever and end up in a bonfire.
Yeah, it's they were on the charge too much for their items spectrum. Goodness, way too much. Swap and Vivo says, nice to hear, Raiken Profit. By the way, I'm a member of the E2A Masterclass. I still haven't opened the seller account yet. And main issue is I'm from India, so I have a lot of confusion to start with OA. I feel like the international scene is a little bit harder to start an Amazon seller account, but like there's people who do it. They literally work with prep centers in the United States. They send their items there and they sell on Amazon in the United States. Steve, it looked like you had a thought.
Yeah, I don't have any experience like personally working with prep centers. I know you use them, Seth, and a couple of my friends use them. So I have a little knowledge in terms of how they work. But if you're international, you really just have to build a relationship with a prep center who is actually going to allow eBay flips to the warehouse, because a lot of prep centers don't want to work with eBay to Amazon flippers because it comes in like annoying packages. It's all one-offs. So you're typically not going to get away with $1 or $2 per item. You know, a lot of them now I've been seeing they're like $5 to $6 to $7. I don't know. What are you paying, Seth, per item?
I pay $185.
Holy crap. How are you getting away with that? That's crazy. If I was owning a warehouse, I would never take your items for $1.85. Just because you're super lucky.
Especially like sending the big, like the massive office supplies. That it's a great deal. These days, I try not to take advantage of them like that. I try to send some bulk to them. But
yeah, but you're dealing with new items too now, so it is easier, right?
It's better for them now. Yeah.
Yeah, but Swap Nil Vivo, you got to find a prep center who's going to work with eBay flippers to Amazon. And you're just going to have to get yourself a little system, right? Like Seth, you have a spreadsheet that you work with.
Yeah.
And when the items get checked in or when you buy, you mark up the spreadsheet. And then I'm sure your prep center has access to that, right? So they update it as it goes through the process.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And Cody, you work with a prep center as well, right?
Yeah. I have a prep center, and really it's just learning how to use their system. Every prep center, they'll give you like a spreadsheet. You just input the items you bought, what they are, what ASIN corresponds with the item, and like it's really not that bad once you learn how to use it. I feel like when you're gonna get a prep center, you have to really vet like am I where am I sending this? Am I sending this to somebody's house, or is this like an actual like warehouse, and it's like a bigger business? I found that the larger prep centers are they've usually got their stuff together. So I like those, where they have a gate to come in, like it's an actual warehouse, right? Not just like a ma and pa kind of operation. Yeah, we may or may not get your shipment out kind of deal. I like to avoid those.
Let me interject real quick. For anyone looking for a way to make money and connect it to Amazon, I think one of the best ways, like if you're good with logistics, is starting your own prep center, especially if you're in a tax-free state. It's always been an idea that I've had. I just don't want to be bogged down with a warehouse and all those logistics, but you can make a lot of money with a prep center. Like, think about it. You're getting paid like just for you, you're paying them $1.80 just for every item they receive, open up, and ship out. And imagine if they're doing like 10,000 items a month or something. You know what I mean? Like that adds up quick.
A lot of money. Yeah. Especially if you can have like good systems in place where, of course, you have to be able to delegate it all. That's for sure. And Domain has a really good tip here. After 1,000 to 5,000 books, I started getting ungated in a lot of categories and items, including grocery, just by asking, doing the auto ungating. Yeah, I found the same thing. I got auto ungated in beauty by doing books for several months, which is pretty cool. Chris B is saying, how can I do this if I'm crammed in an apartment and have absolutely no way to keep my inventory where I live? Well, what you could do is have like a section or a little corner of your apartment to keep the stuff that needs to get shipped out, and then just do quick shipments and don't ship big stuff. Send to Amazon FBA instead of doing merch fulfilled.
Or go direct to a prep center.
Yeah, that too. Yep.
Yeah. Small items and then like immediately get a prep center would be awesome.
Domain saying the easiest ungate is the auto ungate. Exactly. Amanda's saying, what food can or can't you sell on Amazon? I sell used books and DVDs right now. You can't sell alcohol. You can't sell drugs. I don't think you can.
Well, you can sell over the counter.
Like I made like $6,000 selling marijuana on Amazon.
That's what's in the master class.
What's that?
That's how you made all that money.
The master class.
Oh gosh.
Paying for some real good leads. I feel like you can sell just about everything besides that weird stuff like called the, I don't know. Like, do you guys know? Like, I think you can sell everything.
I don't sell groceries, so.
Yeah. Welcome back, Steve. Big thing, make sure your name on the invoice matches the name on Amazon or it won't work. Yeah, exactly. So, and you need to make sure that you are shipping to the address that's on your Amazon account as well. So like if something's different there, it's not going to work. New business model. Invoices are US photoshopped invoices for your medical marijuana on Amazon.
Oh man.
I had a coaching call with a couple. This was like 2 months ago. And I'm not going to say their name because what they did is kind of messed up, but 100% messed up. They both got suspended because one, they had newer accounts and they were going to the thrift stores and they were buying all the pristine books and selling them as new. And they were like doing it at scale, like thousands of books. And they both had their own Amazon accounts, girlfriend, boyfriend, or husband and wife in the same house. So one of them got suspended because they actually, Amazon sent them like, we want you to prove that they're new. And they sent them 5 invoices. So that she got suspended. And then their accounts got connected from being at the same house. So then the other person got suspended, and they went out and there's a website out there where you can actually get any fake invoice created. And they were telling me about it. And then they submitted that. And I'm like, you guys are freaking absolutely nuts. What are you doing? Do not do that. And I know that was a joke. That was a joke down below, but like, don't do that because they check up with the suppliers.
Yeah, that is the best way to get suspended and stay suspended. Like, I know Cody, Josiah, and I had we didn't even go over this tip for how to get IP claims and keep them. Our joke live stream a couple weeks ago. Submit fake invoices and make sure Amazon catches you. They will keep you suspended. They hate that. They absolutely hate that. As a new seller, how to start flipping from out of the United States. I feel like that would actually, there are so many people like need information on that. There's a big need for that.
I'm trying to find somebody, and I put a post out on Facebook, and I really need to find somebody. I have a guy who's a 7-figure seller. He's actually an 8-figure seller from Canada. I'm trying to partner up with someone who has knowledge of how to create, like, because I don't know the legalities of, like, say I lived in India or in Canada, like, could I create an Amazon.com account? Like, what are the tax implications? Like, are there any legal issues? Like, I have no idea. I just know people do it. And then I heard a rumor, and I don't know if it's true. Maybe you guys could touch on it. Somebody told me that you'll win the buy box less if they know you live international and you're selling on Amazon.com. And I guess I would ask you guys, do any of you guys sell on like Mexico or any of these other platforms? And do you win the buy box if you do? Because I only sell on Amazon.com.
I toggled it, so I'm just doing the United States. What about you, Cody?
I experimented around with Canada. I was given the option with Canada and Mexico. I was like, well, let's just do Canada first and see how it goes. And I actually did a few MF orders there that panned out. I charged them, Seth, you joke about the $50 shipping, but I would literally sell shoes and charge like $40, $50 shipping. And I had like 4 or 5 guys that paid it. So it was an FBA, but I mean, it wasn't bad. I got 1 return, and with Merchant Fulfilled, this is one thing we didn't talk about, is you can actually charge restocking fees if the item doesn't come back in the original condition. So a lot of the times with shoes, it will not come back in the original condition. So some dude, poor dude from Canada, he returned this item, and I had to pay a $50 shipping label to him. It came back. So I'm like, I'm not going to pay that. So I charged him it and the restocking fee. So, you know what I mean? I'm not taking that big of a hit over his item, right? So I don't know. Everybody's situation's different. I've heard selling in Canada and Mexico when you're in the United States is an amazing opportunity because you're reaching so many people, which just makes sense. Yeah,
starting outside of the United States, I feel like I know there's a way to buy Amazon seller accounts, but I've never actually looked into it. So yeah, that might be the way that you have to do it. Unfortunately, I don't know. Like Steve said, we kind of need to find someone who's doing it at scale and knows how to do it. Rob is saying, hey, all, got a question about eBay to Amazon flipping. I've read in the eBay to Amazon private Facebook group, which is Steve's Facebook group about eBay to Amazon, that some people rather use Seller Amp as opposed to FlipMine for sourcing. So Seller Amp, just a little distinction there. Seller Amp it's mostly a fee calculator and mostly like gives information on the item, like statistics about the item to help you make buying decisions. And FlipMine is more of a sourcing tool. Seller Amp, you can do like storefront stocking through. Basically, Amazon sellers have their stores, and you can click into the store with Seller Amp and look at it more efficiently. Basically, what are your thoughts on that? Yeah, so those are my thoughts. Basically, if you're going through Seller Amp, that's more of a manual approach, which can be very good these days. Steve, do you have any thoughts?
I find a lot of my deals now through my replens list. You know, there's a lot of ways that you can source products through FlipMine and reverse sourcing and different things like that. But, you know, there's definitely more competition now, I've noticed. And a lot of the items that we find are by reverse sourcing and storefront stocking. And I think building a leads list and a replens list is one of the best things that you could possibly do. because a lot of these deals do fall through the cracks. So, you know, it's like if you go to a thrift store and you're only waiting on the brand new carts to come out, like, yeah, those are good opportunities, but like go scan all the books, you know, go do some manual hard work. And once you get virtual assistants, like, you know, I'm up to on my team, 5 VAs that are helping, you know, the bigger your team, you can get them to go do a lot of this manual work for you. And most people aren't going to do it. They're all looking for the quick, easy way. So
yeah, tons of stuff falls through the cracks if you're willing to do manual sourcing as opposed to software. And like Steve and I say this so much, like your replens list, and like there's a point where like once you've built up that replens list, you can literally just get over that hump and you're sourcing and restocking over and over from your replens list. And so for a while, you're going to have to be using things like FlipMine, doing some manual sourcing, doing some storefront stocking off those really good profitable leads to find more. But restocking is where the scaling of your time comes back to you. Goodwill in Salem, Oregon, $6.99 per textbook. Oh my word. On the way to school vibes. Good to see you, Raspy. Good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Hey, Steve, jumping in here late, but had a question about DVDs and video games. What do you look for on a rewrapped DVD or video game? Is there something you come across a lot doing eBay to Amazon? Especially, are you talking about like counterfeits or just making sure that they're not rewrapped? That's a good question.
yeah, I like to have I forget what it's called, but you know, on a DVD, they have like it's like on the outside. I wish I had a DVD.
Yeah, the little like white, like it has their name.
Yeah, I like seeing that there. I should really know what that's called, but I really like to see that there. And I like when it's got like, because sometimes not all DVDs have that, but it's kind of, I don't know. I've experienced it enough where like you can tell when a DVD is rewrapped. A lot of times I use this freaking like really flimsy kind of like it's almost like a stretch wrap they use. It's not like that strong, sturdy. Like if you ever go to Best Buy, or I don't even know if they have DVDs there anymore. It's like more of a thicker material. I noticed that some DVDs, like it'll just be like, you could just tell the seal is kind of off. Like there's parts hanging off. It just looks like it's been resealed. With video games, I haven't noticed that as much. I feel like it would be easier to tell if a video game is resealed or not, because those are typically always packaged up really, really nicely. Some DVDs, though, they are even legit and they're packaged a little weird. So I don't know if that helps or not. I think a lot of it just comes from like when you're looking on eBay, don't buy an item unless you look at all the pictures. Zoom in. Like sometimes I'll zoom in and just really take a good look. I'll also look at the seller and see what else they're selling. If they have a bunch of super popular stuff and like things look sketchy, if they have negative feedback, that'll turn me off a little bit. But yeah, I think with the DVDs, that top part is like the safest way to make sure it's not repackaged, to make sure that's not sealed or broken open.
Yeah, it's a really good tip. And Lindsay923 says, "Hi, I'm a newbie. My name is Elizabeth. Good to meet you. Is there a Facebook group you guys have?" Steve has an online arbitrage Facebook group, don't you, Steve?
Yeah. When are you guys going to open yours, though?
Yeah, I need to.
You really got to get one, like you and Ecco and Josiah. Like, I would love to be.
That'd be awesome.
That, we got to get you rocking and rolling, man.
Exactly.
Raiken's gonna get us straight here.
How do we get an invoice if we purchase in an in-store to auto ungate? To ungate. I don't think you can do in-store ungates. I think you need to purchase online from someone who gives. I mean, there's been people who have submitted blank receipts for Star Wars. Reezy Resells, I think, did that.
Yeah.
But that's not normal. I would purchase online. Domain. I'm probably not saying your name right, but non-residents would need to form or buy a U.S.-based corporation LLC, then create a business account and open a bank account for the company. Probably easier to go through a registered agent, business attorney. I feel like you know what you're talking about there.
I think he's got it on the money with that one. I think, that really seems like the way to go.
Yeah, and like I think the quote unquote buying of an Amazon seller account is basically buying the LLC linked to that Amazon seller account, and so the Amazon seller account comes with that. Yeah. So you'd have to go through it like that and get an Amazon seller account like that. Swap and Vivo. We got Heath. I sell from Canada and I've sold about 15K flipping RA to MF US this summer. Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Let's
man.
go.
That's
Well, we love
super
to
good.
hear.
Yes.
How do I stop my account from selling in Mexico and Canada? I keep getting fraud alerts and the bank keeps freezing my card. I know there is a button to basically stop selling in Mexico, Canada. I have to Google how to get Amazon seller account not selling in Mexico, Canada. It's such a weird question to type into Google. But
yeah, it's just under account settings.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, like you hit the little cog in the top right, and I don't remember like exactly, but you just kind of look. I think it's like
account info.
It's like selling channels or something.
I think
like
Seth
that.
should share his screen and show everybody his Google.
No. If it wasn't for the stupid showing your seller account name, like I'd love to, but I can't find it. Oh yeah, and there's also a search bar in the account settings as well. We got Joe Tarka. I sell in Mexico and all the emails are in Spanish. I have no idea what they're saying.
Google Translate, baby.
GG. I picked up a Vero on eBay from HP offering to ship to the EU. The EU shipping model is changing. Interesting. Yeah. I don't think I've ever gotten a Vero on eBay. I know like you can't sell like there's certain rules about like Velcro or like HP on eBay. Just refresh my memory. Will you explain how to use your replens list that you've created? Yeah. So basically what both Steve and I do, and like Ecco Flips does this with his replens list for regular online arbitrage as well, as you buy an item profitably and you keep the link that you purchased it from, whether it's like an eBay search, whether it's your from Nike, whether it's your apparel, and when you sell that item, you literally just go in and purchase it again. If it's out of stock, you keep rechecking that link until it's in stock, and then you're able to get this item again. That way you don't have to sit there and like always be searching for new items like we're thrifting. This way we can kind of find an item and hopefully source it profitably 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year, which is absolutely insane. Want to share your replenishable list? Thanks in advance. LOL. Yeah.
How much would it cost? Honestly, say I wanted to buy your replens list, Seth, and I wanted to make a cash offer, cold hard cash, in your pocket, right?
Interesting.
What would that cost if I wanted that list from you?
The interesting thing is like selling it to one person wouldn't be that bad, but selling it to like
no, but I'm gonna release it to my whole audience after.
Oh yeah, that's that would be a big offer, that's for sure. But grabbed a Joanne Gaines book at America's Thrift, then found out at the register they wanted $9.99. Goodness. Steve, I'm curious for you, how much cold hard cash would we have to give you for your replenishable list?
Oh man, that's a lot of items on there. Are you going to share it with your audience?
No, I promise I'll keep it just to myself.
The thing is, someone like you would be dangerous because you would actually take action on it. I feel like if I sold it to just an average person, you know how it is, like 99% of people, like they'll just like be like, oh crap.
I don't want to do this.
I don't know. I feel like I'd sell it to you for like $5,000 or something.
Heck yeah.
Hook you up. You're my boy.
I want to see you succeed.
The homie discount.
I want to see my homies.
We got Colby here. Any help on children's product certificate? Ooh, toys from overseas require them, but many sellers won't give it up. I don't sell many toys. My perspective on this is if I'm selling something and they want one of those, I try to sell out ASAP and hope somebody else gives the certificate. That's literally all I do with it. You can use Seller Amp to develop a list as well. Yeah, they have a button on there that you can literally click. Let's see if I can pull it up and show you guys the button. Let's just pull up a random
Yeah, the Google Sheets integration with SellerAmp, like if you're not already using it, it's so good because you could just hit a button and then it exports so much good data to like it shows you the ASIN, it shows you your buy cost, what you're gonna sell it for, everything just with one button on SellerAmp. So that's really awesome.
I'll just
It's a
show you
great
guys
feature.
real quick here. This is just a random ASIN I pulled up. And so SellerAmp's on here. And if you, where even is the button?
You just scroll down,
Right
Seth.
here, right? What's
No,
that?
that's Google. You just scroll down.
Where is this stupid? Oh yeah, export to Google Sheets.
There you
And
go.
so if you want to change the criteria that is getting exported to your Google Sheets, you can go down to this cog and in the settings you can change the things. But you basically just click this button and it'll export all the information to your Google Sheet, which can save you guys a lot of time if you guys do this right.
Raiken, do you ever use that?
I actually don't. My team has a different system that's more inefficient and more takes more time. So I probably should make that change, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
At some point, it's like, do I really feel like changing my system right now?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way to pull the eBay data because, like, I'm looking at two different sides of the coin. Like, the Amazon data is great, but for me, the biggest thing that I'm adding to my leads list and replens list is like the shortcut URL to like the eBay filter of like the lowest offer. And then also like I like to pull some other data from eBay as well. So I guess it would probably save time because you can just get all the Amazon data, then you just manually pull the eBay data, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think SellerAmp is optimized around eBay in that same way.
Did you know that I just learned this yesterday? Like, this is how slow I am with certain things. And it's like, it's crazy. Like, I'm doing 45K and I still have so much to learn. It's like not even funny. The more I think I know what I'm doing, I realize like, holy crap, there's so much to learn. Did you know that SellerAmp, there's a setting you could turn on? So like an eBay button pops up and it'll literally search the eBay. Like it'll just one click right to eBay.
This is through SellerAmp?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it's through SellerAmp. I know there's one on RevSeller I discovered like a couple months ago, but
I wouldn't do it live because it'll show your Amazon store.
Oh, yeah,
I was having some people on the coaching call try to tell me go into the settings. I'm like, I'm pulling this freaking screen share off. And yep, it opened up like all my info. But if you go into settings, there's a button at the bottom that you click on for eBay. So then say you're looking at an Amazon listing, maybe you're looking at, I don't know, Dallas season 5 DVD. A button will pop up like Keepa does with eBay, and you click it and it'll bring you right to the eBay. It does a UPC reverse search on eBay, which is really helpful.
Wow. So that's a button on SellerAmp right now that you can do.
But it's off if you don't go into the settings and turn it on. So
oh, interesting.
Yeah, quick little tip for you guys.
A little sneaky, yeah.
Sneaky little snake.
Little
Avery and I used to always say that when we lived with each other. I don't know why.
It's such a funny yeah. We got KV Flips early lives now. I know, right? Like a lot of us don't like the late live streams at super late at night. We can drink our coffee on the live stream. It's perfect.
Well, they don't call me Grandpa Profits for no reason.
We're gonna Grandma and Grandpa Profits. Counterfeit. Check multiple offers photos. Are they the same? Interesting. I've never heard that tip before. We got Lindsay saying thank you. We got Google Sheets class on E2A coming $7 per sheet.
I'm gonna need someone who could actually create it. I'll pay $7 for it.
Heck yeah, exactly.
There's actually a good free YouTube video on it though. Someone sent it to me yesterday. So anyone that wants to learn that, just type it in on YouTube. SellerAmp has a really good video that shares like step by step how to use like the whole Google Sheet thing.
Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah. Yeah. We got live from the listening room. I thought it was listing room. I was going to be like, oh, we got an OG eBayer in here. Is there a way to set SellerAmp so it doesn't default to FBA new prices and set to FBA used prices? Sometimes it throws me off. That's a great question. Yeah,
I don't like that. That's annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're doing mostly used items, I've literally just manually inputted the price that I think, because usually I have to go look at Keepa and also the prime used offers and kind of like put the price that I think it's going to sell at in there. So that's kind of the way I do it. Christy says, have any of you had any IP issues with winning solutions that makes board games? That would be a question for Steve. I know I haven't. I haven't sold them either.
No, I don't even, I would have to look up like what that even like encompasses, what games and stuff. So I'm not sure, but I've never had any IP issues with any board games.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we actually made it through all the comments. Thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, we talked about a bunch of different stuff today. We if you guys don't know how to get ungated, definitely watch the replay. We talked a lot about like you can get ungated from a lot of different sites like Kohl's, East Bay. Basically 10 of an item and just make sure it matches to the Amazon. There's a bunch of different things you can do to the invoice, but really got to keep it basic and just submit the invoice. We got Kevin saying Kings. See y'all in Miami except Ecco. I don't know why you're not going to Miami. You're literally.
I probably should.
Dude, you're missing out, man. It was like that. So it set my business on fire, man. Like just meeting so many, like, you know, I'm mid 30s, but there was a lot of guys in like their young 20s who were like killing it. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Miami, exactly. Miami. Thanks for the help, guys. Nano, good to see you. Thanks for the answers, guys. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Much love. Good to see a knowledge lover. We've been going for about almost an hour and a half at this point. I think we can wrap it up. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. And if you guys haven't checked out, I think most of you guys are here from Raiken Profit, but if you guys aren't subscribed to his channel, definitely check out his content. He always releases super relevant stuff. And then Ecco Flips, he has a bunch of really good technical stuff. If you guys haven't checked out his Amazon content, definitely go check him out. Super good content. Really good stuff about Keep a Data Offers tab and a bunch of different other stuff with Amazon. See you on Facebook. Steve from Dallas. Joshua. Hey, Josh, good to see you. Have a great day, fellas. Hit the like button. Josh was a bunch of fun spending time with him a couple months ago. But yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of the day, guys, and take care.